Hi, and welcome to FAQ with PQA. My name is Stephanie Kimoni, and I am a member of the Program Quality Assessment Team. During this webinar, I will answer questions commonly asked by programs. Will my program have external assessments conducted by a Program Quality Assessor this year? Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, external assessments were temporarily suspended for the fiscal year. No external assessments will be conducted by Program Quality Assessors through June 30th of 2021. There is no information beyond June 30th of 2021. Instead, the assessment team will partner with quality coaches and programs to conduct internal assessments. Keystone Star Standards EC 3.4.5 and optional EC 3.4.6 explain the temporary changes. These changes include conducting an internal assessment or assessments within the classroom. How do I conduct an internal assessment during COVID-19? You may be wondering how to conduct an internal assessment during these times. You are focusing so much on health and safety that you may not be focusing on other areas. This is the perfect time to assess your program. Many of the authors of the program observation instruments have spoken about why quality matters, even during these times. While some have offered the ability to not score certain areas during the pandemic, others emphasize the importance of assessing using the entire instrument. First, you want to choose the POI that is right for you in your program. While conducting the assessment, be sure to take notes on what you're observing. Also remember, this is a snapshot of what is actually occurring, so only base the observation on what is being practiced. You don't want to assume something is done. After completing the assessment, create an improvement plan. What areas put children's health and safety at risk? Those should be your first goals. Next, look at lower scoring areas and decide what is most important in your program. While creating goals, it is important to still ensure you are meeting health and safety guidelines put out during the pandemic. This will help you make well-informed decisions. Why are my scores lower, and what does that mean about my star level? After you have conducted a self-assessment, you may notice scores lower than what you are used to, and that's okay. The pandemic has shifted our focus and resulted in changes to the programs. Conducting the assessment will help you, as the authors of ERS stated, maximize the good and minimize the bad. The observations will help us to see how the children have been impacted due to these demands. We know that overall quality impacts our children, staff, and families. Our role is to continue to provide the best care we can while also keeping everyone safe. Since there are no external assessments, there is no scoring criteria to determine star levels. As I said earlier, internal assessments have temporarily replaced external assessments. In order to maintain your current star level or move up a star level, you would complete the internal assessment planning process that is part of the Keystone Stars standards. How many assessments will be conducted at my program, and which classrooms will be assessed? Since July 1st of 2020 and through June 30th of 2021, the standards state that during a full designation, an assessment must be completed in all classrooms. If it is not a designation year, a minimum of one assessment is conducted for each age group served. The program's internal assessment team will select which classrooms they will assess. A program can also choose to assess all the classrooms as well. The age groups may vary depending on the assessment instrument chosen. For example, if using class, infants and toddlers would have two separate assessments, whereas using ERS would result in one assessment that covers both infants and toddlers. The exception to this is if a program opted to use the Program Administration Scale, also known as PASS. This program observation instrument does not include specific classroom assessments. It measures program leadership and management through an interview and documentation process. If a program is opting to complete Keystone Star Standard EC 3.4.6 for additional points, the program would select a POI different than the one or ones chosen for 3.4.5 and choose which room or rooms and age groups are assessed. As stated earlier, there are no external assessments being conducted this year. In the past, assessments were conducted in one classroom per age group and a total of 1/3 of the classrooms. For example, a program of 12 classrooms serving infants through school age would have 4 ERS assessments conducted, 1 ITERS-R, 1 ECHRS-R, or ECHRS-3, 1 SACRS-U, and a random selection with the remaining rooms. How would it be decided what instrument is used in a mixed-age classroom? Mixed-age classrooms are determined based on the age level that represents the highest number of enrolled children in the group. Class separates infants and toddlers into 2 age groups. Therefore, the majority of the age level enrolled will determine which class scale will be used. For example, if 4 infants and 2 toddlers are enrolled, the room would be assessed with the ITERS-R or have a class infant and class toddler assessment. If kindergarten-age children are enrolled in a class with more older school-age children, SACRS-U or Class K-3 are used. If it is a kindergarten-only classroom, ECHRS-R, ECHRS-3, or Class K-3 are used. Age level information can be found on the first page of the Pennsylvania position statements. What is the difference between sanitizing and disinfecting? There is a difference when it comes to sanitizing and disinfecting. When sanitizing, you think of eating surfaces, whereas disinfecting occurs when you want to eliminate germs on surfaces like diaper changing tables and bathroom surfaces. It is important, however, to remember that current guidance, due to the pandemic, expects disinfecting to occur on all surfaces. Please be sure you are following the product's instructions in order to properly disinfect. How long do I have to leave the sanitizer or disinfectant on the surface? Caring for Our Children issued a recommendation for use of a diluted bleach solution for sanitizing and disinfecting because many brand name companies have changed their bleach solution and there is no longer a consistent solution across different brands. The new recommendation advises us to use only EPA registered products, follow the manufacturer's instructions for diluting the bleach solution, and for the required contact time. Using the website listed, you can check your product using the EPA number to obtain instructions, including contact time for sanitizers and disinfectants. If you're using a pre-mixed product, follow the instructions on the label. Be sure to follow the instructions indicated for sanitizing or disinfecting, depending on the use of the product. Please remember that a bleach water solution can be unlocked, but must be out of reach of the children. If using a pre-mixed commercial product, and the label indicates keep out of reach, it must be locked. What needs to be listed on my sanitizer or disinfectant bottle? The Pennsylvania position statements provide information for proper bottle labeling. This applies whether you're using a commercial product, a pre-mixed product, or a homemade bleach water solution. Some of you may buy a concentrated version that is mixed into bottles for classroom use. Be sure each of those classroom bottles are labeled accordingly. The bottle labels must include the name of the product's intended use, sanitizer or disinfectant, the product EPA registration number, dilution recipe, the contact time required to effectively sanitize or disinfect, and any other directions relevant to proper usage. Do I have to disinfect the sink between each child? If you're using the same sink for diapering, toileting, and for food-related routines, including toothbrushing, or for other purposes like washing toys, other classroom equipment, or after wiping noses, it would need to be disinfected before hand washing for meals and snacks. Disinfecting the sink includes disinfecting the sink and faucets. As an exception to this rule, in order to avoid requiring children to wash hands in quick succession between toileting and being fed, the following applies. If children use the toilet, wash hands, and then immediately sit down for a meal or snack, disinfection does not need to occur between each child. Contamination of children's hands at the toileting sink must be minimized by having children or adults turn off the faucet with a paper towel or leave it running between children. The goal is to avoid contamination of the disinfected surface. When do I have to wash the children's hands and my hands? It is important to know when hand washing should occur, especially during these times. You should be washing upon arrival or after being outdoors, before and after meals and snacks and meal or snack prep, after toileting routines, when hands are visibly soiled, after dealing with bodily fluids, after sand play, and before and after shared water and shared moist or wet materials. In looking at how to wash, you want to first moisten hands with water and use liquid soap. Next, rub hands together away from water for 20 seconds. Rinse hands free of soap under running water. Leaving the water running, dry hands thoroughly with a clean paper towel or an air blower. Turn off the faucet using paper towel and throw the used paper towel into a hands-free trash can. Can I give a child water instead of milk at lunch? The answer to this is no. Water is not considered a nutritional component and is not a substitute for milk. The USDA CACFP meal guidelines require serving fluid milk with meals. Children can be served water in addition to milk. If a child cannot drink milk due to allergies, a substitution can be made to meet the same nutritional value as the component they replace. The ERSI website includes a printout of the guidelines used when assessing meals and snacks for each age level. Young children, thinking ITER's age ranges of 1 to 3 years old, eating solid foods, should be offered water in between meals and snacks. My preschoolers don't nap, so I can just NA nap rest, right? Although children sometimes seem to outgrow nap, or parents indicate they do not want their child to nap, the authors of ERS indicate that if children are in a program that offers care for over 4 hours, provisions for nap are expected. If the children attend a part-day program with no option to stay in care before or after, and the program is 4 hours or less, the nap item can be marked not applicable and would not be scored. Each indicator will be scored based on what is observed, the posted schedule, and the interview with the staff. If I use crib dividers or shelves, do I still need 36 inches on 3 sides of my cribs, cots, or mats? Since shelves and other dividers do not run from ceiling to floor like natural corners, they can ensure children's health and cannot be used to separate cots or cribs. This is often a struggle for classrooms due to room space, furniture, and other obstacles. It is important to do the best you can with the space that you have. I have a fence. Why do I need bollards? Although a fence keeps children safe in the space and keeps unwanted visitors or animals from the play area, the bollards keep it safe from oncoming traffic. Permanent bollards provide effective guards against wayward traffic, something fencing alone cannot provide. Fences surrounding a playground must completely enclose the play space and measure at least 48 inches high, and the latches of access gates should measure at least 40 inches high as well. To prevent children from passing through the fence, the vertical members of the fence should be separated 4 inches apart or less. Do smartboards or tablets count as screen time? Any animation on a screen that children can view is considered screen time. Playing music that includes videos or other animation that children can view is also considered screen time. So if you use the iPad or another device to play music and the children are not viewing the screen, it would not count towards screen time. Small computers that display animation are considered screen time. The American Academy of Pediatrics states that children under the age of 2 should not be allowed to view screens due to persuasive research indicating negative effects for these youngest of children. In the ECRS-R, the expectation is to not exceed 15 minutes for any individual child during a 3-hour observation period. In the ECRS-3, TV and video is limited to 10 minutes during the observation. Other electronic media is limited to 15 minutes, and that includes animated smartboards, computers, handheld games, or tablets. How do I limit wait times? What can I do if children must wait? Wait times can be difficult. It is impossible to eliminate all of them, but with some planning, you can limit the number and length of waiting children may have. First, review your daily schedule. Can you chunk or combine activities to limit transitions that may cause waiting? For example, children come in from outdoor time, wash hands, and sit for a story. After the story, they must wash their hands again before lunch. Consider moving story time to before outdoor play, allowing lunch to be prepped. Then after children go outside, they would come in, wash their hands, and sit for lunch. I know this is only one example, but there are often ways to reorganize the schedule to minimize transitions and wait times. Sometimes, planning activities or routines with small groups can also help alleviate these times. If only half the children use the restroom, while others are engaged in another activity, it could cut the wait time in half. What about when you cannot avoid these times? It is recommended that you have a variety of transition activities ready to go at a moment's notice. Here are a few resources that can help with quality, standards, and current health and safety guidance. The PQA team, along with the ELRC quality coaches, are always available to provide assistance or lead you in the right direction. Thank you for taking the time to view FAQ with PQA, and we hope you found this information helpful as you continue to provide quality care in your program.